likely, or we find them in our universe, quantum gates that flip, opposite to having like a pair gate to it. So if it flips, to one, no matter how much distance is between it, it flips to a zero on the other side. It
Yeah,
will literally flip to a zero on the other side of
but
the universe, and then you
it's
can use that as like a one and zero communication system.
that's
It could
also
technically be
it.
transcendent of
Don't
space.
doesn't gates actually exist quantumly? Like
They do. That's what I'm saying. Like they
no, no.
actually exist. So
But what I mean is more in the state of like it's not just zero and ones, it's all and everything in between and any
yeah,
variation as
but the
well.
the point I'm trying to make is that it can flip
Yeah.
between a state of zero and one, and that is going to be something we can use for
Yeah,
communication.
we'd have to figure out how to force atoms into being pairs or subatomic particles into being pairs.
Like we're gonna have to create some sort of supercomputer that literally becomes a hub for something like that,
Yeah,
like
but the problem
a
is,
galaxy supercomputer
but how do
or
you
galaxy quantum computer.
would you then have to go move those particles to where you want them to be?
That's
Because
the thing I'm curious about as well. Like maybe you could do it with programming, dude. Weirdly enough.
yo, dude, I don't like. I wonder if it wouldn't be a simpler idea to just figure out a way to like take two atoms and induce, or two subatomic particles and induce pairing of those two by, I don't know, somehow causing a spin of the same order of magnitude or something. I don't know, dude, but that would be
Yeah, you could
insane.
basically create a synchronistic state, and then you can tune other things into that synchronistic
Mm-hmm.
state, maybe.
Dude, quantum physics is nuts, nutty.
And we're like basically monkeys with sticks trying to beat at this idea. You're a monkey with a stick.
Poking it, dude, being like, what the fuck happens if I push this? Oh, not good. Okay, tap, tap, tap,
Oh
tap.
my.
We'll close that. Touch here. Oh, that worked. Dig deeper.
Oh my.
Dude, I bought myself a new game. It's called The Outer Wilds. Um, and it is one of the coolest video games I have ever played in my life. The like entire it's kind of like it's a Groundhog Day style game where you keep respawning when you die or something happens to you. Um, but there was this incredible moment that I had in the video game, because so the entire point of the video game is that you are a space explorer that has just gotten your civilization is in like the intermediary stage of exploring their solar system. They're sending ships out to the different planets and everything. You're one of them, and you can go explore freely and figure out the mysteries to the people that were there before you in your solar system. And there was this moment in this video,
Sounds like a Subnautica thingy.
a little bit, but space.
Your
Um,
space.
yeah, and there was this point where I was sitting and I was on a gas giant or inside a gas giant because it's not even a gas giant. It's more like a super tornado driven water planet, and all the vapor that the tornadoes have kicked up has caused like a gas giant-esque planet to form in the game. And I was inside there and I heard this like sound. And as I'm standing on this planet and I just hear this like wave. And suddenly my screen goes white and I restart the loop. And I'm like, what the fuck has just happened? Anyways, continue
What
exploring.
is going on?
Falls into a black
What
hole.
is going on?
The black hole throws me out on a white hole. Start recording. I am doing very well, thank you. Uh, I am. I got my results back for stats. I passed with 50% on the dot.
Awesome.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly 50.
Yeah, exactly
Oh my
50.
god.
So I think
Oh my god.
I failed. I think I failed, and they gave me the pass because it was online like the first because what I didn't realize, Chris, think about this. All the people that wrote stats with me on campus, it was the first time in their entire life that they wrote on campus exams.
Oh.
Because
Wow.
it was the second year module. So first year was online, second year was online.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, dude. So I think a bunch of people would just they were like, yeah, it's okay, and made it did it better. Cause what also happened is one names is some of my other friends passed the module with on the dot 40% for their exam, and I'm sus of anything that's like on the dot you pass.
Um,
But maybe I'm just that skilled.
You're
So,
just that good, Johan.
maybe
Just
you're
saw it
just
so
that skilled,
short, dude.
Johan.
um, I'm sorry, I got really. Why are you on Steam and why are you playing Sid Meier's Civilization?
That was actually a mislaunch, dude.
I'm like sitting here looking, I'm like, whoa, you're
You,
gonna do the podcast playing. Okay, props to you. I don't know how you're gonna concentrate, but props. Nah, dude. So
bruh, concentration is but a myth, dude.
it's a myth,
We're
dude.
it's but a myth, dude. Like it's such a trip as well, man. Like today's conversations to me just brought back this feeling of how you could technically go outwards in dimension and that would make things smaller. You know, you can like add layers to something further and further, creating more and more layers of separation, and those layers of separation would kind of deduct from the ultimate thing, making it less than it is by adding more to it.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like you're taking a big thing, and the more slices you do, tinier and tinier each piece gets.
But in reverse,
Yeah.
and paradoxically, it makes it smaller. Bro, like language is such a funny thing, man.
Man, I've been having I've been tripping out on language recently, dude. Like I was what I caught myself doing is I was staring at one of my plants while smoking a J and just looking at it. And what I found very intriguing was the moment I started describing what I saw on a leaf, I kept seeing more and more and more and more and more detail. Because once you're like if you genuinely start describing, it means you're like paying attention to pretty detailed attention to actually be able to articulate what you're seeing. And so it was in this weird thing where I was like, wow, the more you can describe something, the more intricate it gets. But the more intricate it gets, the harder it gets to describe. And that paradox started happening.
The thing is, dude, like we have the ability to almost get involved in that intricacy generator, dude. We can
Yeah.
almost like start stoking the fire of that. And to me, what's interesting is at some point your brain, like I call it the point of where your brain starts melting. Like that's how I articulate it, dude. Because your brain is like, at this
I
point, I don't really have the ability to actually articulate or render further the right or wrong answer in this
your
current
brain
situation or problem.
turns to mush. It's just like
Exactly.
I don't know, bro. This is beyond my scope. You're asking too much. Man, a fleshy computer in our brain that's running on a quantum scale and is doing like the trippiest thing to me, man, is the fact that we built computers. Computers that could do thousands of millions more calculations than we can a second. And yeah, they're our bitch. We can make them do anything we want. It's just this fucking fleshy thing, and it's like the size of a I don't know a tiny little soccer ball in your brain, and it can do all of this, man.
Dude, uses 20 to 25% of your entire body's energy reserve. It's just like feed me.
Yeah,
Now that you mention it again, might make some popcorn later.
well,
Yeah, it would be
how
nice
did you
actually.
get
Huh?
popcorn from that conversation?
The
Christian's
brain.
hungry.
Uh,
Dude, it's like that's the weirdest thing to me, man. How you can find so many things out of like an ordinary conversation.
Dude, so
It's magic that
and
we understand each
like
other.
technically you can deduct the reason Christian thought about popcorn in that moment as just like a process of quantum mechanics as well. Like all of the conversations we had, like flipped enough switches in his brain and he collapsed into the output.
I
I
popcorn.
want popcorn.
I
Like
did.
this conversation, this experience is so freaking cool. We need to sit down and be having popcorn just to like experience it even more.
Dude, this thing, man. Man, life has been too cool recently. Like
Why do you say that?
it's just my mind keeps being blown over and over and over and over, dude. It's just yeah, I don't know. It's just been magic. It's no one like thing I can tell you that made it magic. It's just everything. When I can look outside and I see a light on over there, and it's like slightly illuminating those plants, and I can see just the tiniest bit of purple violet sticking out, and I'm just like, bro, that is just there. It's a flower just outside my window, dude.
That's lovely. It's a nice way to see the world.
Yeah, like they, I don't know. Did STN, have you listened to the newest song from Minimus? Signs.
I don't think I have. How recent did it
What?
come out?
Bro, it came out like a month ago. It is so good. Please play it. Please, when we're done with
Signs.
the podcast, play it on your speaker. You two listen to it, and you'll see where my like idea of trying to just look at everything as a gift comes from. It's such a good song that he made.
Menumas versus Umrah.
Yup, that song. That's
Sick, dude. Thank you for recommending slash letting me know, man.
my pleasure, bro. I got my um uh, uh I don't know. You guys don't use Spotify, Chris? Do you use Spotify, right?
Uh, I guess I do.
You pay for Spotify.
Well, technically, I get Spotify Premium from someone at work.
That's fine. Did you look at your rewind for 2021?
No,
Oh, because they
what is
always
that?
do every year. They do a rewind for your what you listen to, how many minutes you listen to music, what was your favorite artist, and everything.
Oh, that's cool. Is it still on there?
Yeah, it should still be on there, so go look at that. It's pretty cool to like look through and see what you've done. My favorite song was Stars by Minimus, and then Consciousness, and then Together Always. And I was in the 0.01% of Minimus's listeners for the amount of times I listened. So I felt proud. That man deserves it.
So my list goes
Well, where do you find this thing?
mine is on SoundCloud. Mine is Menumas Eden, first most listened. Second most listens is
Ooh.
Together Always. Then Rave is King by Speed. Then All in One versus Pandora. A set.
Oh,
Then Stars by Menumas. Then
dude.
Happiness by Menumas.
What?
Then Cosmos. Then Peace of Mind by Menumas. Then Old Man by Agres.
Dude,
That's like the. But like Menumas is like I think the top of my top 10 is like 7 tracks.
dude, I just like music. Music is the most incredible fucking thing ever, dude. Like the
I have
amount of
no idea where
re-
to find this thing on my Spotify.
I do you want to quickly I will quickly explain to you how. Open up Spotify in your phone with the app. On your
Huh?
homepage, it says your 2021 in review. And if you
So
don't
it has
have
to
it,
be
then
on
you
your
didn't get a
phone.
review. Yeah, it has to be on your phone.
Uh, I was busy browsing on the
Yeah, no, no, no.
desktop. I'm like, what the
Most of
fuck?
the stuff Spotify does, they only do for their phone because they like using I think the entire system's app based, and then they just port it to a web base. Just kind of
20,
counterintuitive, but
21 review.
yeah. So, dude, it's just I have an appreciation for how much time and effort people put into music, dude. How much emotion.
Okay, that's interesting. Top artists.
Are you seeing your info at least?
Okay.
But
Top artists are Slipknot.
It sounds about Christian.
yeah, but
Slipknot,
sounds about Christian.
Grandson, Metallica. Really? That's interesting.
Dude,
Let's move it down.
Data is such a beautiful thing, dude, because it tells you so much about yourself that you're just like, what? Really? I listened to
Big
this
data,
song
bro.
that much?
Tells you a lot about the space as well. Just collect all of this data, see who the top artists are. It's important. Oh.
Tripping out about our
Um,
music tastes.
like for me, what I'm curious about
I'm
is
apparently very much into the heavy metals.
what I'm
Yeah.
curious about is how we can use this data to represent beauty, to make art.
Have you not seen Data is Beautiful?
I have, dude, of course, dude, but like this, that's what I'm curious about. How can we do more of that?
Dude, it takes
Like in a
so much data
realistic manner.
science. Like, it's gonna take understanding of how to represent data, how to. Yo, I don't even know how your. Don't really have a way of describing how you go about doing it.
Like basically, you plot points, dude.
Yeah,
You create X and Y platforms to
yeah,
represent data, and you
you'd
create like a 1 and 0 value, and then you just plot points.
dude, you'd
Like
have to
that's
graph it, but I'm more like contemplating the graphing's the easy part. How would you represent like music tastes in an art form manner? Graphing is easy. That's just plotting points of how many times you listen to an artist or something like that. But I wonder how you'd incorporate it. It's just yeah, art. Trying to take your feelings and project it onto the reality so that other people may feel what you feel.
like that, and I'm like really considering as well. How technically things, entire experiences, events, years of your life can become almost these metaphysical objects within your mind. Like they become these. It's weird. Like I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, dude,
They
it's
become
yeah. Go go.
no. Like they become these entire like fractals that you start making up. You become creative in it. Like memory can become creative. Like you remember things the way you want to, and if you do it over and over again, and this is not something I had a conversation with Christian about. If you keep over analyzing memories, trying to find if you did something wrong in those memories,
You will find it.
eventually you're going to start finding things that you did wrong in those memories.
Yo,
And the more you do that, like it's one thing to be remorseful of doing things wrong, but it's a whole nother experience, a whole nother thing when you're actively avoiding, like moving on from them because you're like actively trying to find fault of your behavior. And you
mm-hmm.
will. And then unfortunately, our memories keep changing the more
Yeah.
we recall them. And
The
in that way, if you've now formed this bias of, oh, I am actually wrong in this situation, and now you're trying to reevaluate your whole situation with this new mindset, you're going to find even more things to confirm your new bias. And it gets bad quickly.
you can lie to yourself to such a degree that you forget you're lying to yourself.
I don't think you ever truly forget you're lying to yourself. I think it just becomes second nature.
You're convinced. You're convinced. Like, you're being
Yeah.
lied to, but you're convinced.
No, but I think Chris is on something because you just eventually is like, yeah, no, I know this thing happened, but I'm gonna choose to remember it this way. And in that way, you know you're lying to yourself, but you're just accepting that you're doing it because it makes you feel better, or it makes something that isn't.
It's I mean that's why you get something like a pathological liar.
Hmm.
They're so good. They know they're lying, but it doesn't bother them one slight bit.
Human psyche. Man, I feel like we've scratched such a tiny, 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 tiny surface to what is actually going on inside our heads. Like, I try sometimes and figure out where some emotions come from. And yeah, you can to a degree. But when you really start unpacking all your emotions, the mess of like soup that is your emotions, of how intertwined they are, how dispositioned you are towards certain things. It's yeah, dude. I always feel like it's a miracle we don't collapse just from the sheer amount of chaos that is going on inside our head.
It's getting worse, generationally.
Yeah, because we're jamming more shit into here. Think about how little you had to know way back. You had to remember some plants that you couldn't eat. You had
You have to
to.
remember your neighbor's name because, like, that's the only person you would hang out with.
Dude, you have like four
Your
people in
neighbor.
a town. Dude.
Oh fuck. I don't
Now,
know. Maybe I think I would have really enjoyed small village life. I think I
yeah.
would have.
I
I
would
think I
have
would.
too, but man, dude, being that like living in that time was hard. You get a cut, it gets infected, you're dead.
Dude, Johan, that is
You
literally
know, we
a
were talking about
big
that in the
joke I
Slack.
made today on stream as well, dude. Like just how far we've come. I actually talked about you, Johan. You know, the fact that you've told this to me as well. Like if it wasn't for medical intervention, you wouldn't be here right now. And what a absolute miracle and like grace it is for us to have the medical prowess we have to actually keep people alive to you can continue human experience.
Yeah.
And in comparison, as you say, like, and I was joking, if you get a cut, you just die.
You
You
just
get
die,
infection,
Holy
you
dude.
die.
stuff.
Like the thing is, it's just I don't think people appreciate how good it is. Like here, you cut yourself on rust, go get a tetanus shot, and you're done. You get tetanus, even today, it's a 99.8% chance of fatality. The only reason you don't is because you get the shot before the time. Rabies, 98%. Like,
Dude, and those things like the pathogen produces the toxins that kill you, dude. And those toxins that they produce is so freaking toxic on like a
micro.
volume level, bro. It's crazy. It's like some of the most poisonous substances in the entire world. And they produce that shit inside of your body, dude. It's wild, and now we just have like we've already for a long time now figured out how to kind of transcend these things, keep humans alive. I mean, we literally know how to save people after they get bitten by poisonous snakes, dude.
Dude, anti-venom, man. We're
Yeah,
just like, here's the thing, inject it, done, the venom won't kill you. Imagine getting bit by a snake in that time. Like, that's why people that are like, I want to go back. No. No, you
no, you
don't.
don't.
You
No, you
really
don't.
don't. You know what was actually very funny to me? I was talking, before Reynard left for his holiday, I saw him, he came over, and we were talking about, uh, um, god damn it. I tried lighting the J and I forgot what we was talking about.
You were saying something about Reynard, and
Yeah,
you and Reynard had a
yeah, we had a
conversation.
conversation about uh going back in time. No, it is gone.
That's
It's
completely
gone.
okay, dude. Oh
Okay.
man, a fractal that will now continue being itself, dude.
Man,
One thing flows into another, flows into another, flows into another.
whenever I forget a point like that, it just reminds me how hard it is to keep your thoughts straight.
Dude, what does straight thoughts even mean? Like, I literally, for me, like, genuinely, the way that I think, I would explain it as, uh, for fifth dimensionally almost. Like, there is an outer layer and then there is something with inside of that outer layer, and then inside of that outer layer is the experiencer or the rendering engine, if you will, and then there is this container outside of, so it's almost like fifth dimensional but captured within the fourth dimensional space of inside of that fifth dimensional shape. And that is my understanding of how we think slash how, or at least in my personal opinion of it, how we imagine. So Imagine trying to keep a thought straight, a few string of words in a machine that works
Yeah,
in that way, dude.
that's exactly why I'm like, it's a fucking miracle that we can talk, think, design a computer.
And then a quantum computer,
Uh,
space travel. We're going
space,
to Mars.
we're
We're
going
gonna
to
go Mars.
Mars.
We're gonna go to Mars.
Man, and scraping the surface, the like bare bones of what our universe is. Man, just like the thing where we had to like only 50 or 60 years ago, where we actually confirmed that our physics works the same on the moon as it does here. Like up until that, it's just speculation that if you drop something on Earth, it's going to drop on the moon too. Until you get there and test it. What haven't we
Yeah,
tested?
isn't that amazing?
A
That's
dude.
fucking amazing.
A dude. No, we side thing again, Estian, like we were talking about, is there's a very like being able to mathematically prove a triangle is great and all, but when you see a triangle is a triangle, or you see a black hole, or you see a sun, there is a very big difference then between that and just the description of something happening.
I agree. I actually, um, it's strange because it's easy to talk about pain, for example, and a
Mm-hmm.
whole different thing to experience pain.
Yeah.
You know, we can describe pain.
So on that note, actually, let's pivot a little bit and talk about physical pain versus mental pain and how mental pain can be seen as the worst form of pain or a worse than physical pain because you experience mental pain in the past, in the present, and in the future. Like it's something that stays with you. Where physical pain, as horrible as it is in the moment, after you heal from that physical pain, you can't
It's
really recall it.
fun. Yeah.
Like if you think about the very bad pains you had on a bodily level, you remember that it was painful, but you can't actually recall that pain sensation. Where with mental pain, you very much can.
I guess so. Yeah. Like what mental pain was I going through that time? And then, oh, let me quickly simulate that for you so you can see again.
What it felt like. Remember this? To me, like these days, I just smile about that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude. Like the thing is,
okay.
I feel mental pain is also unique in the way that it can exist as being painful, but it can also exist as like a stepping stone, a tool, a literally anything you need it to be. Like I think back to a bunch of my memories of me when I was a kid and the dumb things I did, but and how they really shaped me to be who I was today. Like some of my yeah, I don't know, like a good example for me is when all the trouble I've had with my stepmom throughout the years, uh it's made me in my opinion a better person because I can relate better to other people. So that pain exists, but you can funnel it into something else, and that way I think it can be less than physical pain, because physical pain you can't do that. At least maybe, actually, I don't know. If the lion's about to kill you, I think you'd run quicker.
um, I don't know. Imagine being faced with that situation, right? Look, can I just ask that? Maybe it's slightly off topic,
A lion.
but you have an open field and there's a lion there, and no trees, no cover, no nothing. Do you run or do you just face your fate,
No, I've
bro?
sprint acid, dude. I'm sorry. That you're not gonna anything on four legs will be better at speed than you on two. You're not outrunning a lion. I'm sorry, dude. If a
Yeah,
gazelle cannot outrun a lion, you are not.
but do you run at it, Johan?
Dude, you run at it, dude. Run as fucking you go. You're if it's going to kill me, I am sticking my hand down its throat. Type run at it, dude. This isn't like
Oh
what
my
else are
god.
you gonna do? Yeah,
Sorry.
no, dude. See, like Chris, you are the person that I learned. Uh, I don't know how to describe it without making it sound like you inflict violence all the time, and I know you don't, but
Ow.
Christian does
just
inflict violence all the
no,
time.
he doesn't. But
Mental violence.
Chris
Christian wakes
doesn't
up and chooses
stand for
violence every
anything.
day. No, I'm joking.
Like what I like when I don't know how to describe it, but just learn to at least stand your ground. If you're gonna if something's gonna happen physically, fucking deal with it and do it. It's like we were having the conversation. Duncan, actually, what I don't remember how it happened, but I made a joke saying I couldn't take Duncan in a fight, and Duncan asked if I was honest. And to be honest, like a fist fight is this really weird phenomena, because whoever's gonna hit first is gonna win. And
Not
so,
necessarily.
your dude, if I deck you as fucking hard as I can before you can react, and then kick you while you're on the ground, I think I'm gonna win.
You underestimate my power, Johan.
Or see, but if you dodge and kick me in the face, then well, fuck it, I tried. Like I
It's
think,
so hilarious that we're having this conversation right now because me and Christian have been back and forth pretending that we're gonna fuck each other up. And it's
dude,
like, oh, you wanna try?
you wanna
You
try,
wanna try?
motherfucker?
See, the fact that you and like Duncan had this conversation as well, it's like beautiful to me. It shows more synchronicities.
Dude. And so I just I don't know, dude. In that situation, I say you run at it and you try and deck the lion as hard as you can. It's gonna kill you either way. I think that's probably how the Koi Sun and them did it. Those people were tough, dude.
What, stuck their hand down their throat?
No. Have I not told you the story about the like initiation ritual for the Koi Sun?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah,
You told
so
me.
like, bro, I could face a lion. Bring back its pelt. You can come back then. Dude, different people.
I'd be very upset.
I'd be very
I'd
upset
be so
too.
sad.
I don't know who it was that was like, I think that's probably why there were so many tribes. Some dude was just like, no, I'm not gonna go fight a lion. Fuck you, I'm leaving. And that's how another tribe happened. Dude,
So,
history's too cool.
Man, like I I want to almost come back to this note of people thinking like we do like we live in a paradoxical age where things are really bad when it comes to social instability and stuff like that and like human life value almost, but also the blank statement quality of life that people have been having in comparison to just 100, 200, 300 years ago is significantly better. And it's for that reason that we're in a weird space right now because we know that things are better than they've ever been on a comfort level, but things are also worse than they've ever been on a emotional slash connection slash mental level.
disassociative level.
Very,
The
very,
thing
very.
is, do you know what I think's happened? And I remember what the point was I wanted to bring up. What I was telling Reynard is what I find hilarious is that people don't realize we've done it. The dream of humanity, we accomplished it. We can feed everyone. We can live wherever we want. We can talk to whomever we want across the planet. We can save all our information. We can provide enough energy if we just try, and we're done. We've accomplished what humanity's been set out has been trying to do for the last 12,000 years.
Hmm.
Um, and I think what's happening now is in the countries where people no longer need to care about surviving, people are losing, they're dissociating because they don't know what to focus on anymore. Suddenly, the core principle of life, survive, is done.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. So now you need to figure out, where do I take this energy that I was dedicating to keep staying alive, and how do I direct it into things? And I think for that reason is why this
It's
dissociative is
difficult.
happening. It's
It's so
difficult, dude.
difficult because it feels like now we just have to come up with our own fucking reason to just
Yeah.
exist. And everything's been done. There's nothing new under the sun. Um,
Yo, you
so now
say
we just
that, dude, and then we discover that our math doesn't work out for subatomical physics. So there's
I mean,
another
we kind of
subatomic
did do
particle.
that already. From trying to find the unifying theories in physics, bro.
Yeah, we dude. Oh, there's
We were like, why doesn't quantum mechanics work for larger scale um, experiments? You know, instead general relativity applies, but then general relativity bugs out when you go down to the microscopic scale,
Subatomic.
subatomic
subatomic.
scale.
This place is too weird. Like the levels, dude. The levels. And like I still don't really understand how small subatomic is, dude. I don't think any of us actually do. Just like if you look at those zoom ins that people do on like crystals or things, and it just keeps going and going and going and
It's in the
going.
same way, like you can't really properly fathom how large the universe is. You also
Dude,
can't really fathom
can
how
I
small things
can
can be.
so I don't know if any of you have watched the Kyrgyzstan video on the largest things in the universe.
I
But
did.
they're on black holes. Um, and I'm just not trying to remember, but the largest black hole that we have seen evidence of could fit our solar system 4 times in its diameter.
That's bonkers.
Just
Damn.
just think about that, dude. It has two black holes
Damn.
orbiting it. And the
Ha,
two black holes that are
damn.
orbiting it are double the size of our Milky Way's central black hole.
That is an impressive black hole.
It is fuck big. And then the biggest star we've ever seen is currently, if you drop it on the sun's location, its orbit would be Saturn, or its diameter would be Saturn's orbit. So like,
Amazing.
dude, the scale of fucking upwards and downwards is nutty. I was telling Estian when he was over, I wonder, or we would never, ever, 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 ever be able to understand or see the logic and grand scheme of what the universe is. Because what it could be is we could currently be living on the atoms of some giant thing. And by giant or like infinitely large thing comparatively to us. Because if you look at the way the universe is set up, you have stars that have orbiting things like how we have orbiting atomic systems. And then on top of that, you have light that's being sent from the nucleus of each of these orbiting systems to other nucleuses of these centering orbit, these other solar systems, and light has been proven to be able to carry information. So done. Dude, it's too cool. There's too many things this universe could
I'm waiting
be.
for the aliens, bro.
Me
I
too,
really
dude.
want to meet some aliens.
Me too. I wonder, like, I know I don't remember if we've spoken about this on the podcast with all the new stuff that's coming out about Joe Rogan, and what I find interesting about this whole new UFO thing is that yeah, it's now been confirmed there are things that we don't know what the fuck they were. We have pictures of we're not sure what they are. They look like flying things, but I don't know. They could be smudges too. Type deals, and the military's been like we don't know what this is, but then again back in like the 60s a UFO shaped thing was seen, and it turns out it was Soviets doing tests on new flying vehicles. Like
Nice.
it's so hard to say what or if there is, but then like things will happen, like the DMT trip that we did where I woke up and that fucking flying sheik goes past after something touched me. I don't know, dude. It's just imagine they have been here. Imagine they've just been observing us all this time, being like, "Yeah, dude, look at these apes. They're finally getting there slowly but surely, dude. But look, dude, damn, dude, their planet's about to die. I wonder if they'll make it. Bets.
I think we'll make it.
Yeah, we'll make it.
I think we'll make it, even if we. I know we have to leave Earth eventually, man. Like, there's no avoiding that.
No, we have to go into into the universe.
Eventually, we have to leave Mama Gaia, and that's okay. Like, we'll
Mama
make
Gaia
it
will
work.
Mama Gaia will always will forever and always be the cradle of humanity. It's just in 10,000
Well, we can't
years.
say that for sure.
In 10,000 years, when we have a galaxy spanning empire, and we will look back on the tiny little Mother Earth, she will be probably. I don't know if we'll like make her a museum instrument or something. Like I always the funny thing for me about species that have that much power and capability as being able to harness the entire usefulness of a galaxy, that terrifies me, dude. The things they'd be able to do.
Bro, we're headed in that direction. In all
Mm-hmm.
honesty, I really think we are. It's just gonna take some time.
Of many,
Doesn't
many
happen that
thousand.
quickly.
Hundreds of thousands of years.
Uh I think we could get to Scott Kardashev level 3 within 50,000 years. I think we could do it.
Level 3.
Yeah, dude. Full galactic understanding and harnessing of energy. I think we could do it in 50,000 years. The exponential growth,
Bruh.
the exponential
Bruh.
growth, dude. Remember, if you harness all of your solar system, the next one is you take your power and you double it, and then you harness
Yeah, but
four. Like
50,000 years
it's one thing. It's one thing to double it. 50,000 years, dude. In
Bro,
this game, dude, no. The
dude,
dinosaurs lived for like hundreds of millions, dude.
nah, dude, nah,
hundreds
dude.
of
I think
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
you're.
they did.
N-
Yes, the dinosaurs
different periods of
existed for
dinosaurs.
100.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Different periods, but that's hundreds of millions of years of evolution
And
and
what did
progress.
they do? Fuck all. Took
Yeah,
us
they ate
100,000.
leaves.
No,
They ate
yes.
leaves. They had a fucking vibe. Like,
I-
well, that's
They
the
learned
point
how to
I'm trying to
breathe.
make.
They learned how to breathe on land for us, Johan. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, that is fair. They did learn how to breathe on land. That is like a very
So
big
the
thing.
point I'm trying to make is in 50,000 years for entire Milky Way colonization, it's one thing to be able to actually capture the energy. It is a whole other thing to be able to use that energy effectively to actually scale your manufacturing up in the same way, because that's not guaranteed. Mining processes aren't going to be, unless you can literally put an entire planet in a machine and the other side resources come out. That
You
is the
could.
only way that you could do that
You
fast.
could.
Yeah, but bruh, how are we as human beings going to build machines that scale if within the next 50,000 years, dude?
Like the thing
Realistically,
is, I think what the reason I say 50,000 is because what I'm basing my prediction off of is the like I said, the exponential growth of what we've been facing. If we like go back, the humans conquered as far as we can, as far as we know, everything on our planet to this point in 100,000 years. Uh, for most of that 100,000 years, we were apes. We were
Fair.
nomadic, barely functioning hunter gatherers that barely understood anything. And then 92,000, no, 88,000 years later, some dude discovered writing and farming and was like, this is sick. And then 12,000 years later, we stood on the moon. I think,
Exponential growth, man.
I think just
We're gonna be the proto molecule.
yeah, dude. If we like discover something, dude, if we discover like a way to get to other solar systems without it taking actual hundreds and thousands of years, then I think we're golden. If we can't, fuck. The other problem, and where I do see is, we need a way better way of communicating, dude. Like communication via light is great for intersolar system. Maybe not even across solar system. Planetary, great. But what the fuck are you gonna do when it takes 4 years to send light to another solar system?
we
You
need
just
to.
make a different colony, man.
The only
Colony
way
that you say goodbye to, and then they start their life there.
there's an easier way to do this, boys, and this is something that is theoretically actually possible. We figure out how to, or we just like learn genuinely how to make these things directly, or we find them in our universe. Quantum gates that flip, opposite to having like a pair gate to it. So if it flips, to one, no matter how much distance is between it, it flips to a zero on the other side. It will
Yeah.
literally flip to a zero on the other side of
But
the universe, and then you
it's
can use that as like a one and zero communication system.
that's
It could
also
technically be
it.
transcendent of
Don't
space.
doesn't gates actually exist quantumly? Like,
They do. That's what I'm saying. Like they
no, no.
actually exist. So
But what I mean is more in the state of like it's not just zero and ones; it's all and everything in between and any
yeah,
variation as
but
well.
the point I'm trying to make is that it can flip
Yeah,
between a state of 0 and 1, and that is going to be something we can use for
yeah.
communication.
We'd have to figure out how to force atoms into being pairs or subatomic particles into being pairs.
Like we're gonna have to create some sort of supercomputer that literally becomes a hub for something like that,
Yeah,
like
but the problem
a
is,
galaxy supercomputer
but how do
or a
you?
galaxy quantum computer.
Would you then have to go move those particles to where you want them to be?
That's
Because
the thing I'm curious about as well. Like maybe you could do it with programming, dude. Weirdly enough.
yo, dude, I don't like. I wonder if it wouldn't be a simpler idea to just figure out a way to like take two atoms and induce, or two subatomic particles and induce pairing of those two by, I don't know, somehow causing a spin of the same order of magnitude or something. I don't know, dude, but that would be
Yeah, you could
insane.
basically create a synchronistic state, and then you can tune other things into that synchronistic
Mm-hmm.
state, maybe.
Dude, quantum physics is nuts, nutty.
And we're like basically monkeys with sticks trying to beat at this idea.
You're a monkey with a stick.
Poking it, dude, being like, what the fuck happens if I push this? Oh, not good. Okay, tap, 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 tap. We'll
Nice.
close that. Touch here. Oh, that worked. Dig deeper.
Nice.
Dude, I bought myself a new game. It's called The Outer Wilds. Um, and it is one of the coolest video games I have ever played in my life. The like entire it's kind of like it's a Groundhog Day style game where you keep respawning when you die or something happens to you. Um, but there was this incredible moment that I had in the video game, because so the entire point of the video game is that you are a space explorer that has just gotten your civilization is in like the intermediary stage of exploring their solar system. They're sending ships out to the different planets and everything. You're one of them, and you can go explore freely and figure out the mysteries to the people that were there before you in your solar system. And there was this moment in this video,
Sounds like a Subnautica thingy.
a little bit, but space.
Your
Um,
space.
yeah, and there was this point where I was sitting and I was on a gas giant or inside a gas giant because it's not even a gas giant. It's more like a super tornado driven water planet, and all the vapor that the tornadoes have kicked up has caused like a gas giant esque planet to form in the game. And I was inside there and I heard this like sound. And as I'm standing on this planet and I just hear this like wave. And suddenly my screen goes white and I restart the loop. And I'm like, what the fuck has just happened? Anyways, continue
What
exploring.
is going on?
Falls into a black hole. The black hole throws me out on a white hole. And I'm busy exploring. And the next moment, as I'm in a space station, I again hear and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And as I take a step out of the space station, I turn towards the sun. It's just a supernova rolling towards
Oh,
me. And I'm like, oh,
lovely.
Oh
that's
my.
pretty. As the supernova just vaporizes all the planets and the loop restarts. And I was like, oh, that is the coolest thing I have ever been a part of in a video game. It's so cool to me, man, that you can make things that are that far out and nobody would ever realistically be able to experience for the next 10,000 years. And there it was in a video game. And I felt that all. I
Uh,
felt the all.
Christian is just answering a phone call.
Enjoy.
Man, yo, I feel mildly tired, mildly headachy.
Dude, do you want to
Like
call
this
that?
conversation. No, not just yet. Like this conversation just has been really cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we are attempting mental gymnastics by trying to talk about things that don't inherently make sense. So,
It's hilarious, right?
dude.
Like technically, what do you mean mental gymnastics? But you understand, huh?
Yeah. These word things, they make you feel thing. Incredible. I just what's the right word that I'm looking up? Logistics, linguistics, dude.
Linguistics. For me, I just wonder, like again, you mentioned it as well. What comes next, dude? How are we going to continue our communication? Because if you look at just the progress, that we've made with our information exchange, our language is hitting a point where it's no longer how fast we can write it down, or how fast we can print it, how fast we can ship it out for people to learn. Now it can be instant. So now the words are the thing that's lacking, no longer the means of distribution, because that's technically what words were made for.
Distribute information. How much this has advanced us above other animals. That's something that gets me. Like if you look at deer, imagine all you had to communicate with was body language and like there's only so much you can attempt to say. You can never ever ever get to the intricacies that is involved in everyday objects.
Not realistically.
Not realistically, dude. Not at least to the level that you can with a proper vocabulary.
Man, it's it's something I wish they actually taught us properly, in school. Like if they actually took us through, how do you say, proper, just educating us on how to speak, dude. Well, how to like doing more. Like we did public speaking, sure, but maybe like what, once a year, maybe like
No,
twice a
no, no,
year.
no, dude. I was never taught how to do public speaking or
You
orals, dude.
never got taught
No,
how to do
no.
public speaking?
We did them, but never,
Yeah,
ever,
you never got
ever
taught how
has
to.
anybody told me, taught me how to do them, how to write one, what the right or wrong way is to speak in front of people. That's just always expected. And I realized it the other day, and it made so much sense to why I'm incapable of like enunciating and getting some people to understand what you mean because there was never taught. You had to figure it out.
So it's interesting that you say that, Johan, because my mom actively encouraged from like I was grade one that I do redenage. So that literally one and one explains why I can articulate and stuff like that. And technically, my mom and I hated it. I really hated it. Didn't like doing it in front of people. But just think about how much that could have helped. How much it still can help our youth now, dude, going into the
Mm-hmm.
future.
I feel like in a way, um, you do kind of get it a little bit from live streams because yes, it's not exactly 1,000 people being in front of you, but I mean, when you do your streams and 30,000 people were there, I do think though it is a bit different if you were standing in front of Loftus and the entire Loftus was chanting your name. I think that
Just you,
might be,
bro.
dude. That's literally what's happening every time you stream. Like, that's insane how many people you can see, and then to think about how many people 30,000 people is.
You should see his face right now, man. The concern.
Extreme concern.
Ex-
Bro, like that's not what it's about for me though, dude.
no, I
Like
know.
today we like just genuinely shared again how like today's whole topic was how can we be more happy, and it basically went from this conversation that one of the ways to be happy is to first learn how to be patient,
Mm,
because unhappiness fundamentally is wishing for things to be differently. So if you turn that around and you say happiness is wishing for things to be as they are, then impatience is the only way that you can get through that in a realistic manner. And then on the other level of that, happiness also is very much derived from our relationships. And a relationship, no matter what relationship it is, if it's a healthy one,
mm-hmm.
and one you can trust, one you can confide in,
Friendship,
literally keeps you young.
romantic.
It literally keeps your mind young. You remember better. You have better physical and bodily health.
Really?
It, Yeah, literally,
Or
dude. There's the study, the 75-year study that they've done on people throughout the last 75 years. They have 90-year-old individuals, dude. They are still studying. It's
that's
bonkers, dude.
insane.
And all of that, dude, like all of those men, when they basically entered the study, there was this consensus that all of them wanted to be successful, wanted to be very rich, wanted to be respected in their social groups, and to them, they ranked those things very high in their interpretation of what they need to be happy. And now, literally 75 years later, they still have data on these people, looking back at what they said, looking at where they are now, and all of them, literally every single one of them, gain most of their life experience, most of their happiness from relationships. None of them gain that happiness from this material success that the world keeps telling us is our
Hmm.
key to happiness. And I think if people can just realize that, dude, that relationships and being able to share moments with one another, that
Dude,
is the good
and
stuff.
relationships are like way farther than just the ones that you are active, or no, that you are, how to say it, on the ones that you are physically close to now. Like the relationship you have with artists and how they can make you feel and what they can invoke in you is an incredibly important and influential relationship you have.
Hmm.
Like, think about how much books that you've read have shaped your understanding and experiences. Each one of those was a relationship with the author.
Oh man, the books, bro.
Dude,
Oof.
books.
You know, I straight up like got so damn sad when I found out Terry Pratchett passed away.
I'm sorry to say I was never really got into his books, so
So, okay, Johan, on that note, can I read you a small bit from his book, dude?
yeah.
This piece is so good, dude. Like I think you would genuinely love it. Just like on what we've been talking about and perspective. I think you'd enjoy this. Whew. The sun was near the horizon. The short-lived creatures of the world were mayflies, which barely made it through 24 hours. Two of the oldest zigzagging aimlessly over the water of a trout stream, discussing history with some younger members of the evening's hatchling. You don't get the kind of sun the air that you used to get, said one of them. You're right there. We had proper sun in the good old days, in the good old hours. Ah, it was all yellow. None of this red stuff. Yeah, it were higher too. It was, you're right. And nymphs and larvae show you a bit of respect. They did. They did, said the other mayfly vehemently. I reckon if mayflies these hours behaved a bit better, we'd still be proper we'd still be having proper sun. the,
Yo.
the younger mayflies listened politely. I remember, said one of the oldest mayflies. When all this was fields, as far as you could see, the younger mayfly looked around. It's still fields. One of them ventured after her polite interview. I remember when it was better fields, said the old mayfly sharply. Yeah, said his colleague. And there was a cow. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I remember that cow. Stood right over there for 40, 50 minutes. It was brown, as I recall. You don't get cows like that these hours. You don't get cows at all. What's a cow? Said one of the hatchlings. See, said the oldest mayfly triumphantly. That's modern. Yo, this fucking word. Euphematoria for you. It paused. There, were we doing before we were talking about the sun, zigzagging aimlessly over the water? Said one of the young flies. That was a fair bet in any case. No, before that, you were telling us about the great trout, and then it goes into another story. But it's just that
Dude,
oh yeah, the
it's
sun used to be better.
it
Like it's
used to
not
be
the
better,
sun
dude.
doesn't be better. We get old. We get
Dude.
old. Our senses kind of like leave us. We start to experience like this reality through more and more of an haze. And if you only attach your value and your life experience to the physical things you see in this world, you're going to have a worse and worse experience living in this life. unless you figure out how to be happy within your own state of existence, it's gonna be a ride, yeah.
It's not gonna be a fun ride either.
I mean, some people are sadistic, dude. They take pride in having rough rides.
Then I'm very happy that they do it, so I don't need to.
Oh, man, this was a really fun chat, dude. I think we
Mhm.
can end it here.
We can. I know you guys are still sick and recovering, so it is a-okay. I hope you guys have incredible weekend. We need to do something before I leave on the 21st.
Please, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you should either, organize something at your place or you just come through here.
We will organize something here and I'll get Adrian over as well.
I was about to say, dude, like, Adrian is going to be here. Like, I think he's finishing up with his, as he calls them, his gamily.
Family, yeah.
Oh, is that his gay family?
Exactly that,
Yes,
dude.
Adrian, I love you, man.
So he says he's finishing up there at the on the 14th, so in 3 days. So maybe then we can start
Yeah.
making plans.
Well, I'm riding on the 14th, so when that is done, I will be done.
Like just start making the plans, not
Yeah.
just finalize the plans for the day. But dude, thank you so much, Johan.
Yeah,
It's
you
always
guys
fun
too.
having conversations, man.
Dude, I love you guys so much, and